Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. Now, if I sound a little weird, because I can hear it myself, I've been sick this past week, basically since Tuesday, and I lost my voice for a day or two, and yeah, that's why there's been like no videos on the channel since Luke and I did the Raw review. I just haven't really been able to talk enough, I guess you would say, and my voice hasn't been there to be on camera. I contemplated maybe just doing it, have the, because I've been learning more AI stuff and do like an AI voiceover for it, but I'm like, I don't know. I like played with it once and it didn't sound too real or just genuine. I might play with it more. I don't know, but I got a hair on the mic right here that you guys can, there it goes. I was looking into my confidence monitor and I'm like, they can see that hair and it's going to be distracting, but we're good. So yes, I'm feeling a lot better. As you can tell, I still got a little bit of a sore throat. My nose is basically cleared up. Like there was a day or two I just could not breathe out of my nose at all. But with all of that, it's Friday and Smackdown was today. I thought Smackdown was a good, easy to watch show all 3 hours through. Yeah, there were the, well, that wasn't all that great, or yeah, that was all right kind of stuff on this show, of course, but it's not like, oh, this was a bad show. Like back in 2025 when we had just those awful 3-hour Raw or Smackdowns. We haven't had any truly awful 3-hour Smackdowns in 2026. I'm gonna get used to saying that. So yeah, good to see there. Also, not sponsored, but would love to be sponsored. Have you ever seen this G Fuel? Wampa Fruit G Fuel, right? Crash Frickin' Bandicoot. Got this at the Dollar Tree, $1.25. They got the G Fuels there. They usually have like the Sonic, PewDiePie, and the Mega Man ones. Never tried any of those, but I've tried this one before. The damn Wampa Fruit. Oh, they have the Pac-Man ones too. These Wampa Fruit ones, they taste like peach rings. I'll tell you right now, they taste like a peach ring, and they're great. I love them. Highly recommend G Fuel, Crash Bandicoot, Wampa Fruit energy drinks. Not sponsored, love to be sponsored. But with all of that, like I said, an easy to watch Smackdown, good overall. Feel bad for Jade and Jordan Grace because Judgment Day came out at the beginning of their match. Dom, Liv, and Raquel. Their match starts and the crowd's just dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom. And I'm like, oh, these two are having a freaking title match. And the crowd's chanting for a guy on the outside. That really blows. Also, one thing to note, and I'm actually going to pull an image up here on the screen. Everyone's asking, where's Royce Keys? I think they're doing the Tala Tonga thing with him. Remember how Tala Tonga worked dark matches before SmackDown, before actually getting put on the main roster and then on TV? Why can't I see this image now? Well, as we see here, Royce Keys actually worked the match before SmackDown against Nathan Frazier. They filmed some main event stuff. And then I think this was a match not to air anywhere. Kind of like they did with Tala Tonga before he was officially put in with the MFTs. So they're getting him used to the WWE production and how WWE does things and whatnot. But as we heard, he was going straight to the main roster, and this basically does confirm Royce Keys straight to the main roster. Also, I think he's going to be next week's guest on Stephanie McMahon's podcast, What's Your Story with Steph McMahon, because he was at the WWE headquarters this past week. He actually posted he was there, and they welcomed him with open arms. He walked in, and his graphic was on all the screens, you know, his logo, his new Royce Keys logo, and PW Insider reported that he was there to film What's Your Story with Steph McMahon. So I think that's actually a really cool thing to do. When you sign somebody that's got hype like this guy, throw him on one of them podcasts and let people learn who they are. Throw them on one of them podcasts and tell their story. Now, you don't have to say, well, I was in AEW for 4 years and I was the FTW champion and I was a trios champion and I left the company. You don't got to say all that. But you could tell his backstory outside of wrestling and on the indies and whatnot. And honestly, yeah, being on the Stephanie McMahon podcast, cool. But it probably would have even been better if they had him do Cody's podcast, since him and Cody do have a relationship. They do have a past being in AEW together and whatnot. So, but I'm interested to watch it and see where it all goes. Corey says, Royce Keys is a weird name. Powerhouse Hobbs is so much better. Do you not know what Royce Keys means to him? He picked the name. Royce is actually the name of his youngest son. Keys is his late mother's maiden name. So it all means something to him. It's his youngest son's name and his mom's maiden name. So everybody that keeps dogging about it online and, well, that's stupid, this sounds like shit, blah, blah, well, he picked it. He came up with it as his choice. I don't know why he had to change the name, because we see so many people not have to change their name. Jordan Grace, Jade Cargill, just to name a few, Ethan Page. So I don't know why he had to change the name. It's weird why some people do and some people don't. Joe Hendry. But I think it's just with Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry, I think because they were used so much as TNA talent with those names, and this is just me speculating, I think that's why those two may have got to keep their names, Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace, because they were used by WWE so much as TNA talent. Plus, you're not going to bring in Joe Hendry and not have that music. He's all that music. Say his name and he appears. Bobby Backlund is coming. I don't know. You change the name and you redo the song. Bobby Backlund. I don't know. Just a name that came to my head. So, yeah. It would be weird. It would be weird. So I think that's why those two had to keep their name. And then Matt Cardona's Matt Cardona. He was Zack Ryder for a week and then back as Matt Cardona. That's the whole thing. We still don't really know. But yeah, Royce Keys did work SmackDown tonight. Well, the SmackDown taping. As far as some other news coming out of the week, since we really didn't cover much news this week, actually coming out of tonight's TNA No Surrender event. An NXT champion is a TNA champion. We're going to read this here from F4W Online. I did have it pulled up. Now I don't have it pulled up. Here it is. I read the wrong thing. WWE NXT wrestler Ariana Grace has defeated Li Ying Lee to become the brand new NXT or TNA Knockouts champion at No Surrender. On Friday, February 13th, Grace, with Channing Stacks Lorenzo by her side, faced off against Lee for the Knockouts World title. The final moments of the match saw Grace pull out her father, Santino Marella's signature Cobra, before using it herself on Lee. She followed this up with her own finisher to secure the victory and become the new champion. So yeah, Ariana Grace is the goddamn Knockouts champion, the top champion in the TNA Women's Division. And I don't know if he's still the champion, but Stacks had the international title, whatever they're calling it. So they're both champions, I guess. Interesting. Some other news here. This weekend only, WrestleMania tickets are on sale. Legion Stadium is doing a Valentine's Day special, basically. They say, quote, holiday weekend offer. Get your seat at the table with 25% off tickets starting now through Monday, February 16th at 11:59 p.m. Don't miss out. WrestleMania tickets right now are 25% off for this year's WrestleMania on April 18th and 19th. So that is the thing. If you want to go to WrestleMania and you want some cheap seats, and they're not cheap seats, but they're cheaper, 25% off. I know like the top nosebleed seats are like $750. 25% off of that, $187 down to $563. I know, like for a decent seat, it's like $3,000. So $3,000. What's 25% of $3,000? $750. So for like $2,200 plus tax. So that is. Go get your tickets now if you're going to WrestleMania. I won't be going live. I do better. For me, I just can't go live because I would make more money just doing the podcast here at home. Also, we did learn recently that Jake Doyle suffered an injury on AEW Dynamite a few weeks back. And according to a new report from Fightful, they do state that Jake Doyle, the former Jake Something, is recovering after undergoing surgery for a bicep injury suffered during a match that took place last month. Quote, Jake Something had surgery to repair his injury this week. So all the best to Jake Doyle. As we saw in that match with FTR, he took that DDT on the apron from, I want to say, Cash Wheeler, and then goes, I think my bicep's messed up, or I tore my bicep, something like that. So, not good at all. Also, we have some Brock Lesnar WrestleMania news. This comes from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer. F4W Online does write the following. In the new issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reports that the WrestleMania card is in flux, with only CM Punk versus Roman Reigns officially locked in. As of late January, Brock Lesnar versus LA Knight was among the matches listed for the show. It would be the first ever match between the two if it does come to fruition. Lesnar wrote, quote, Brock Lesnar's direction for Raw is likely to be teased at the 223 Raw in Atlanta when he returns. There was a tease at the Royal Rumble of Oba Femi, and after the Rumble, we were only told that it was not sure of that yet. We do know that in the lineup in late January for the show, Lesnar was listed as facing, LA Knight. But in the Rumble, nothing memorable was done in that direction, while the Lesnar-Femi face-off was set to get a big reaction and actually got the biggest reaction of the show except for the Brie Bella return. So I don't know how we get to Brock and the Knight. That's a baffling one. Head scratcher for sure. I don't get it. How do you get to Brock Lesnar and LA Knight? LA Knight's feuding with the goddamn Vision. Is Brock going to show up with Paul and be like, quit messing with Paul's fucking people? I don't know. But one of the visions they got is LA Knight and Brock Lesnar, which is a weird one for sure. Also, WWE, they got a new full-time coach down there at the Performance Center. WWE legend and former women's champion Jazz is back with the company in a new role. The former women's champion announced on Friday morning that she has officially joined the WWE Performance Center as a coach. She already has experience working behind the scenes in NWA and TNA and made multiple visits to the Performance Center last year as a guest coach. Jazz wrote, quote, giving God the all the glory. I can officially say, as of 2026, I'm now part of the coaching staff at the WWE NXT Performance Center. Professional wrestling has been my life for 30 years. Now I get to work with the next generation of superstars. I'm a true testament of never giving up, no matter how long the process may seem. So cool to see that Jazz will be a trainer at the WWE Performance Center. I think she's somebody that those women can learn, and men can learn a lot from. Jazz has great experience. Jazz is a great professional wrestler and was somebody that was just knew how to stand out with her differences. She was not a diva. I'm just going to say it right now. She was not a diva in the Divas era, and she stood out because of that. So I think she's somebody that could be very beneficial down there at the Performance Center. Teaching women, hey, if you're different, use that to your advantage. Many did congratulate her on the new role, including Bianca Belair, who even wrote, quote, OMG, NXT talent are so lucky. I'm coming back to train. Congratulations. Now, is that a tease for Belair? Is Bianca actually coming back to train soon? Is she returning soon? There was a report from, I want to say, Body Slam that she's expected back for Mania, but yet there were reports that she was expected back for a Rumble and nothing. So anything that says Bianca Belair expected back at this time, I'm not even aggregating. I'm not even taking with a grain of salt unless there's photo or video evidence. Unless we see her at the PC, unless we see her at a Raw or Smackdown, showing up backstage, fans get a glimpse of her walking into the arena. I ain't reporting none of it because this Bianca stuff, people, she'll be back at the beginning of the year. She'll be back for the Rumble. She'll be back by SummerSlam. Nothing. Nothing. So anything Bianca? Who knows? The finger just didn't want to heal. Weird. The finger didn't want to heal. We're just looking here to see if there's any other news we did miss. We do know that there's a new AEW Women's World Champion Wednesday night on AEW Dynamite. Tekla, I always say it wrong, did defeat Chris Statlander in a strap match in Ontario, California to become the new champion. So congratulations to Tekla, who is now the AEW Women's World Champion. Also, congratulations, not the first time he's won it, but congratulations, Kyle Fletcher. He beat Tommaso Ciampa. He's the new TNT champion and will be defending the title this weekend in Melbourne, Australia, I want to say, at Grand Slam, Australia. Also, one final AEW note, Private Party did return to television this week after being out of action for over a year, 13 months. They did return as the wild card team in the triple threat number one contenders match that the Young Bucks ended up winning to become new number one contenders to FTR and the tag team championships. So good to see Mark Quinn and, why did I just lose thought of his name? Mark Quinn and I haven't seen them in so long. Can't remember their names all of a sudden. Isaiah Cassidy back on TV. There were rumors that they were going to go to WWE, but we don't know what their contract status is. It was like WWE's interested in them. Could they make the jump? So, very interesting there. I think that's all the big news that we haven't covered throughout the week or that we really kind of just missed here and there. Well, with that, as far as Friday Night Smackdown does go, pull my notes up here. Friday Night Smackdown from Dallas, Texas. Contemplated going, but I would have made it there just barely once they started. Because, let's see, if I would have went straight from work, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I would have literally made it as the doors were opening and probably like the pre-show stuff was happening. I would probably made it there by 6 at like the best, the earliest. There's a 4-hour drive. I would have got off work at 2. Yeah. Anyways, Joe Tessitore welcomed us to the show. Saw Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jacob Fatu, Alexa Bliss, Julia, Zelina, Jordan Grace, Jade Cargill all backstage. They're inside the American Airlines Center. Tessitore and Wade Barrett welcomed us to the show. Tiffany Stratton then opened up Smackdown. Former women's champion made her way to the ring to kick off our show as we took a look at who is so far qualified for the Women's Elimination Chamber. Once Stratton entered the ring, she asked the Dallas crowd, "What time is it?" "It's Tiffy time." She talked about how she lost her women's title after an impressive rookie year. That was why she decided to qualify for the Women's Elimination Chamber, because she wanted to win it back. She wanted to get to Chicago and earn a shot at the title. Before she could go far, though, the music of Nia Jax would hit. Jax coming out with Lash Legend to address Stratton, stating that she did get lucky last week. Stratton replied by talking about how Jax seemed to be obsessed with her and that she got a replacement in her in form of Lash Legend. In response, Legend said that she was an upgrade, not a replacement, and her and Jax would defeat Ryo later to win the tag titles. Jax also said that she's looking forward to qualifying for the Women's Chamber. Jax and Legend then threatened to take care of Little Miss Tiffy time before their match coming up, but they were interrupted by the Women's Tag Team Champions, Rhea and Io Sky. Ripley said that Jax and Legend shouldn't get too ahead of themselves because they wouldn't be walking out with the titles, much less walking to WrestleMania. Ripley said that she and Sky would work together until, well, the last team standing. Fine opener. Wasn't like the best opener we've seen, but it was all right. So moving forward, the opening match here, I want to say they went like 10 minutes, maybe more. And there was a non-finish. No contest, double count out, basically. Kind of a shit finish, if I do say so myself. So, not too much happened here before a commercial break. There was a lot of just back and forth and kind of like, I wouldn't say deadness, but just a lot of like even trading, if that makes sense. Even trading, like one team would get some moves, the other team would get some moves. One team would get some moves. There's a lot of back and forth, even back and forth. After a break, Legend and Jax tried to work over Sky in the corner. After Jax missed a running attack, Sky used her as a platform to hit Legend with a diving drop kick. At one point, Ripley hit Legend with a Hurricane Rana, followed by a DDT for her too. Sky headed to the top, but Jax escaped Ripley's Riptide attempt as she intercepted Sky on the top rope. However, this left her open for Ripley's impressive feat of strength with a powerbomb. Sky off the top rope with the over the moonsault. 1, 2, nope. Legend stepped in to break the count. On the outside, Legend proceeded to slam Sky all around ringside area and the commentary table. Ripley hit a drop kick as the match was called off by the referee. There was also a table put at ringside that, like, I don't know what Nia was trying to do here. They had, I want to say, Rhea laid out on the table. Lash Legend was holding her down. Rhea was then climbing the turnbuckle. Like she was going to jump from the top rope to the floor through this damn table. No, she wasn't. But Io stopped her. They all fought on the outside. Someone got slammed through the table. I didn't figure who. They were just by the time I realized what was going on, they're all just laying there. And the ref called it off. Kind of a shitty finish. As the bell rang, things just broke down. Jackson Legend gained the upper hand. Legend pulled out a Slim Jim branded table. Wait. Oh, yeah. That was all after. It was already called off. Yeah, the table stuff was after it was called off. And yeah, Jax tried to climb to the top rope, but she was intercepted. And then they were all just beaten and bruised and banged around. Kind of like a what the fuck kind of thing. Like I was confused. So then Cody Rhodes was interviewed about his chances in the Elimination Chamber qualifier later tonight. He talked about he could be passionate, or he could do his golden boy thing and control his emotions. He talked about how there are these who are hoping he and Sammy and Jacob rip each other apart in the main event tonight. Give me one quick second. Rhodes said that he was 2 matches away from making it back to WrestleMania. He's here in Von Erich country. Crowd pop for that one. And that they shouldn't be thinking against him tonight. Then this got weird. We got Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews in the back. Carmelo Hayes walks up against them, and Crews is like, hey, I love what you're doing with them open challenges. You know, I'm a former U.S. champion. I'd love to take you up on that. Cardona goes, wait a second. I'm a former U.S. champion. I'd love to take you up on that. And Carmelo goes, well, the open challenge is open every week, but it's closed tonight, boys. And then he just walks off. Bumps into the Miz, and I'm like, wait, open every week, but it's closed tonight? What the hell is that supposed to mean? As we learn, it's closed tonight, closed next week as well. But Miz interrupts him. Hayes was testing his 3 core values. He was going to teach him a lesson in respect. Hayes just kind of just blows Miz off and walks away, telling Miz that he hoped he taught that lesson better than he wrestled. We're then getting a promo from Aleister Black and Zelina. They're focusing on Randy Orton. Zelina then addressed Alexa Bliss and Julia, who she has a chamber qualifier match against later. And my echo is going off because I said Bliss's first name. No. Alexa, stop. Alexa, cancel. Let's just hope it doesn't go off anymore. Carmelo Hayes then makes his way out to the ring, addresses the Dallas crowd. Hayes, with mic in hand, said he wanted to talk real with us for a second. Hayes said, for the last 48 days, he's been U.S. champ. He chose to honor the title in the same way of the guys before him. Talked about how his matches were bangers after banger after banger and that he backed it up. Hayes said that he earned his opportunity at WrestleMania, as he said he was going to shoot his shot for that main event. He would like to qualify for the Elimination Chamber and is doing so next week. He then asked for Ilya Dragunov to come out to the ring. So Ilya comes in and he basically says, I want to give you a shot at the title. And I'm like, why? Why does Ilya get a shot at the title? What has he done to deserve it other than lose the title and his rematch? I don't get it. And then freaking Solo and the MFTs come down and say the exact same thing. What has this guy done to deserve another title shot? To just come out and be handed one. He's lost twice. Like Solo said, the same shit I said. And he like makes fun of Carmelo. When Solo does the little goofy mocking voice, It's so good. Solo being a little goof, mocking people like that, it's always so good. When we see that side of Solo, when that personality comes out of him, I really like it. So Dragunov mocks Solo Sikoa after the MFTs abandoned him last week. Hayes said that maybe they should leave Dallas with two. Maybe he should leave Dallas with two titles. Maybe instead of defending the titles, the U.S. title, him and Dragunov could take them tag titles. And that's what Solo was like, hey, maybe I should leave with two titles. Maybe I should have two belts. So I'm just laughing so hard. Solo was good there. But this then led to the MFTs getting in the ring and attacking Hayes and Dragunov before Matt Cardona, Apollo Crews, and even Shinsuke Nakamura would come out to make the save. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis then came down to the ring and said, hey, boys, we're not doing a title match tonight. How about we give you guys a good old-fashioned big old 10-man tag? And that match starts now. So it was the MFTs, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, JC Mateo, Tonga Loa, and Tala Tonga against the team of Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, Matt Cardona, and Apollo Crews. Shinsuke Nakamura. I didn't write Shinsuke's name on the match title here, so I confused myself. Anyways, the match began in progress after the commercial break. Tonga Loa. No, Tonga. Who's Tonga? I don't know what I'm thinking. Tama Tonga pulled down on Cardona's tights at one point and kind of distracted him. This followed up by Solo hitting him from behind. The NFTs continued to work over Cardona as Tala Tonga entered the ring and battered the foe with some clubbing blows. Tala Tonga then dropped Cardona with a huge Samoan drop as he maintained the attack. Tonga Loa then tagged in, but was foiled by Cardona, who managed to tag Dragunov into the match. Dragunov unleashed some flurry of offense and capped it off with a big boot. On the top rope, Tala Tonga struck Dragunov down from the top rope, which sent him crashing to the out of the ring. After a commercial break, Dragunov missed an enziguri, which allowed JC Mateo to tag in Solo Sikoa. However, Dragunov hit a kick on Sikoa, which allowed him to tag in the U.S. champion Carmelo Hayes. At one point, things did begin to break down as all the competitors involved in the chaos started just fighting. Tala Tonga was left as the last man standing as Hayes and Dragunov attempted to team up against the big man. The two then did get dropped with a double choke slam by Tala. Crews and Cardona then tried their hand at it, but almost found themselves in the same situation until, well, Nakamura would get involved. I'm like, hey, Nakamura is in this match. Like, he did not do much. Eventually, the three managed to put Tala Tonga out of commission with a flurry of offense. At one point, Mateo took out Nakamura with a slam, but was taken out by Solo Sikoa. Hayes then re-entered the fray and hit a first 48. Tala Tonga pushed Hayes into a Samoan spike as he then entered and hit his not so quite Osprey cutthroat on Hayes and picked up the victory. Can't speak right now. So Tama Tonga does pick up the victory, pinning the United States champion. I mean, he keeps teasing he wants that U.S. title. He's been teasing it for months. He's been teasing it for like 2 champs back. So give me Tama Tonga winning the U.S. title. I would love to see Tama Tonga win a belt. A singles belt. And let me just get New Japan Tama Tonga. I would love it. So the MFTs are celebrating in the ring when the lights would go out. White 6 were then shown watching from the crowd. Solo did have the lantern in hand. And everything got a little spooky. I'm over the Wyatts. I'm really over the Wyatts. Then we got a very bad segment with Charlotte and Alexa, where Charlotte went backstage and she's like, we got to talk. We got to talk about the Royal Rumble. And Alexa's like, it's fine. Nia eliminated me. She goes, well, I want to make it up to you. You know, today, coming up, it's she says Galentine's. Alexa says Valentine's. She's like, oh, I got you something, though. She gave her some black flowers. She's like, I also have you a picture. She's like, it's a picture of you. Alexa goes, Charlie, it's a picture of you. She goes, yeah, but it's signed. I'm like, wow. Bliss said that Flair's the best present she's ever given, and she would be with her at ringside to woo her on in her qualifying match. This was not good. The acting in this was bad. Mostly from Charlotte bad. Alexa didn't have too many lines to say. She was all right. But Charlotte's acting here was not good. not good. So then backstage, Damian Priest. This was weird. So Damian Priest is in, it's Damian Priest and R-Truth in the office of Nick Aldis. And he's like, hey, I just want to tell you, you got a qualifying match next week for Elimination Chamber. And I'm like, both of them? He's like, against Carmelo Hayes. I'm like, both of them? And Trick Williams. And I go, which one? Damian Priest. I'm like, oh, you could have got to that quicker. So, yeah. Why was Truth there? Who the hell knows? Just to be the comic relief, I guess you would say. But next week on SmackDown, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest will battle it out in a Elimination Chamber qualifier. Kit Wilson then marched in, and he was mad about Obafemi last week and his toxic masculinity. I'm going to say it right now. I don't get the gimmick. I don't get it. I don't find it funny. I don't find it entertaining. I find it dumb. I find it stupid. What? I know a lot of people are liking it, and they're saying it's a viral gimmick. His music is great. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I'm just going to say it. So he's reading a poem declaring him toxic, Obafemi that is. So R-Truth offered a poem of his own, mocking Wilson, saying that he wasn't a real man because he saw a camel toe. Truth's poem managed to get a laugh out of Aldis and Priest. And Wilson then stormed off in disgust. Back is itching all of a sudden. I don't know why. So we had our Women's Elimination Chamber qualifiers, Alexa Bliss, Zelina, and Julia. The match came to us underway already as it started during a break, and not much happened early except for Bliss tried to go for a pin on Zelina. Julia broke it all up. Julia then tried her hand at pinning Bliss, and it got broken up. After a commercial break, Julia stomped away on Bliss in the corner before Zelina threw her aside. As Zelina took shots at Bliss in the corner, she found herself beeled by Julia. Zelina then recovered and headed up top, but was distracted by Kiana James, which allowed Julia to head to the top and connect with an avalanche butterfly suplex on Zelina. At one point, with them down, Bliss headed to the top, but Julia caught her and intercepted her. Zelina then climbed to the top as well and hit a back suplex from the middle rope turnbuckle for a near fall. Zelina and Julia then traded strikes in the middle of the ring until Bliss got back to her feet and took out Zelina with an elbow. With Julia out thanks to a missed knee attack, Bliss then headed to the top and tried to go for the Twisted Bliss. Julia got her knees up and blocked it as she was dropped with a code red from Zelina. Bliss then caught Zelina with a DDT and went for the cover, but it was broken up with a Arrivederci knee from Julia. Julia then hit a Northern Lights bomb on Bliss as her cover was broken up by Zelina. Kiana James then got on the apron and took out Zelina, who then took out Julia in the ring. Zelina then tried to hit a running dive. She was intercepted by Alexa Bliss, who connected with her sister Abigail DDT and pinned her 1, 2, 3. Alexa qualifies for the Women's Elimination Chamber. It is now Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss. But Tiffany Stratton runs into Jordan Grace in the back, and she's kind of just like, hey, I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber, and I kind of hope you win tonight. And Jordan's like, well, when I win, I want you to win the Elimination Chamber, and I want to fight you at WrestleMania. So then Tiffany bumps into an injured Chelsea Green in a wheelchair without a fire. She just talks about how her injury is to blame on Tiffany from last week. I don't know if it's a broken ankle or just a badly bruised ankle. I feel like if it was broken, they wouldn't send her to Dallas. So maybe it's just badly bruised, and she said I can show up anyways. But yeah, real injury to Chelsea Green. Sami Zayn. Well, actually, there was a Sonic-sponsored recap with all the beef between Cody and Jacob. And Sami Zayn motivated Rey Fenix in his upcoming match against Trick Williams. The Trick had something to say with his lemon pepper steppers. Williams talked about nobody in Dallas wanted to hear what Sami Zayn has to say. Mr. Can't get the job done. Williams said that Zayn begged for an opportunity and that made him sick. Williams said that Zayn had the big opportunity later tonight against Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, but they would eat him alive and just keep on mopping the floor with him. He said, next week, however, I got a shot to get into the Elimination Chamber. My lemon pepper steppers are going to get me there. Something like that is what he said. He's still got that weird 70s pimp talk vibe to him. My nose is all kinds up. Yeah. Like, I don't think I'm going to sneeze, but it's like you got that building up here where you think you might sneeze, but I don't think I'm going to sneeze. And maybe I sneeze. I hope not. Trick will then say, quote, when people go to the zoo, they don't want to see a squirrel do a flip. They want to see a lion like me. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He's like, that was like a couple weeks ago when he goes, you want to see me? Go to my website and see me like this. Or was he going like this? And he's like, worldwidewilly.com. www.worldwidewilly.com. I went to www.worldwidewilly.com. It ain't a real thing. It ain't a real thing. Honestly, I think he went to business for himself on that one, and WWE should have capitalized, bought the URL, and made something of it since then. As far as Trick Williams versus Rey Fenix does go, Rey Fenix got a hell of a match out of Trick. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's probably one of Trick's best main roster matches. When the match began as Williams ran through Fenix with a shoulder block and a line, like a linebacker. At one point, Fenix hit Williams, though, with a pair of kicks, followed by a handstand elbow. Fenix then tried a rolling attack, but Williams caught him and attempted to hit a chop, but Fenix recovered and connected with an incredible missile drop kick for a 2. Fenix then had Williams in his sights, but he was turned upside down by an amazing pinning kick from Williams. In the corner, Williams withstood chops from Fenix before he slammed him down on the ground. Williams then kept the momentum going with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, followed by a jumping neckbreaker on Fenix. A pin attempt by Williams was had, but Fenix kicked out as we go to a break. Later on in this match, Williams rolled out of the ring to catch his breath as Fenix again took the fight to Williams with another diving crossbody off the top to the floor. Fenix then brought Williams back into the ring again and went to the top rope. Williams recovered and hit Fenix as he got on his shoulders and got some sort of like an avalanche move. I don't know what you would call it. Fenix then fought back and instead caught Williams with a diving double stomp as he took him out with the ring post. Williams, though, did have the advantage here. Flurry of offense. Fenix missed a moonsault. Found himself turned inside out by Trick. Got that trick shot knee. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. Trick with the win. Again, trick shot knee. 1, 2, 3. That should be a t-shirt. Trick shot knee. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I might make that one. That should be a t-shirt. I got the idea. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget it. Hold on, guys. Trick shot knee. 1, 2. Bingo. Yeah, I can hear Trick now. Hit that. Trick shot knee. 1, 2, 3. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley were in the back licking their wounds. Julia came up and just started yelling at him. Basically said she's going to win the chamber. And then Io said, I could beat you for the U.S. title. Julia got all pissed off and Kiana James took her away. But they got words with Jacob Fatu. This man's fucking incredible. Just let this man talk for the full 3 hours. Just let him go. He's so good. Because people want to write me off, say I'm never even supposed to be here because I'm a criminal. Yeah, I did hard times. But now I fought the adversity and I came back. And I'm just like, man, tell this story week after week. Let's go. Like before it was the whole, they don't want to sign him because it's past. Now they're just fucking going all in with it. Yeah, he was a bad dude. He went to jail, did some bad things, but he's learned from his bad ways. Now he's got 7 kids he got to feed and he needs a paycheck. Anyways, those are his jokes, not mine. But yeah, freaking Jacob Fatu being a top guy, 100% right call. Like I said that from the jump when he signed. I'm like, why is he with Solo? And then they made him a top guy within a year. And I was like, okay. You slowly bring him in and then you go. And him working with Cody, him working with Drew, it's all so good. So good. And it just sucks. You got guys like him and LA Knight and, you know, coming in at their, I don't want to say old, but later age where it's like, man, they could have been top guys in WWE for years already. Even like Cody coming back at 38 or whatever it was. Like, man, Cody could have had that John Cena 15-year run, 10-year run. But now who knows how long Cody goes for because he came back so old, like older. Moving forward, women's title was on the line. Jade Cargill defending against Jordynne Grace. We were doing the intros when all of a sudden Liv Morgan's music would hit. Winner of the Royal Rumble would come down with Dirty Dom, two-time champion, double champion, and Raquel Rodriguez, who was not a champion, did not beat Stephanie Vicaire. Morgan said, we're just here to get a better look. Plus, Daddy Dom has a Valentine's Day special date planned for me. All of a sudden, these guys came in with a table and chairs and some food and stuff. Nuggies, of course. So then I feel bad for these women, like I talked about earlier. The match starts, and we just hear, Dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom. And I'm like, oh, man, I feel bad for them. So the match is underway, and they're fighting. Eventually, the crowd gets into the match. Cargill hit a suplex on Grace and found herself trapped in a sleeper hold by the challenger. Cargill tried to get out of it by slamming Grace onto the mat, but she didn't let go. The two rolled to the outside as Cargill slammed Grace into the ring post for going into a break. The match continues after the break, with Grace trying to battle out of a Cargill hold as she targeted the champion's injured arm. Grace then hit Cargill with a forearm to the face and lifted her up for a modified jackhammer for a near fall. Cargill then hit Grace with a big kick, but couldn't really capitalize off of it as she got hit with a spine buster afterwards. Grace then hit a powerbomb attempt to connect with the spine buster and only got a 2 off of it, though. Cargill then went for the pump kick, but Grace dodged it and went for the roll-up, but couldn't get much of it. Grace then hit a standing power slam on Cargill, but yet again only got a near fall. Both Cargill and Grace got themselves to their feet and traded strikes. Grace tried Grace tried to go for the beast mode, but it was countered into a pump kick. At this point, Jade is selling her arm because she was thrown into the ring post on the outside, and they said she hurt her arm. Cargill then hit basically a one-armed Jaded and just pinned Jordynne Grace, middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Jordynne just gets beat. No shenanigans with like Judgment Day or anything. It's just nope. She just gets beat clean in the middle of the ring. Damn. Afterwards, Jade goes over to Liv, and she's just like, hey, don't pick me for Mania. And if you do, make you like that. I'm going to be your ass next time. Talk about beat Jordynne, I'm going to beat you. So, I thought it was a good match. I thought these two actually worked well together. Jordynne Grace got a pretty dang good match out of Jade Cargill. What have I said about Jordynne Grace? She's going to help elevate these women and make these women look better. The women that need to learn is going to learn from her. And the women that need help through matches are going to get help through their matches when they fight Jordynne Grace. And we saw it tonight with Jade. Jade usually has decent matches. She had a good match tonight, if not better than good. All thanks to Jordynne Grace. So then we get Johnny Gargano. He's sitting there on an equipment box with his wife, Candice LeRae. And he's like, man, everything just sucks. She's like, what do you mean? He's like, I can't get a win. My tag team partner's gone. Nothing here is good. She goes, nothing? Nothing? Really, Johnny? Nothing here is good. He's like, no. And he lays down on the equipment box. She goes, are you kidding me? Really? Am I really going to have to fix this for you? And she pushes him away. Traxium then walk up with the Motor City Machine Guns. They're laughing at Johnny before Shelly goes, should we feel any kind of sympathy for that guy? And all three of them go, nah. The NFTs then walk up. And basically Solo's just like, and y'all want a title shot, you better start earning it. You better show me. And I'm like, well, that's kind of random. So they keep on walking and Solo's like making jokes and he stops. And we see that there's a drawing on their locker room door. It's basically Solo's head as a lantern. Solo just freezes for a minute, gets this look on his face like he's not happy. He rips the poster, the little painting, the drawing off the wall. Obafemi's with Nick Aldis in the back. Kit Wilson storms back in. Aldis took his journal, his book, his poetry book, whatever. Read a poem. It was supposed to be about Obafemi. And this led to Oba versus Kit next week. Cool. As far as next week does go, we got Oba versus Kit. And 2 qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber. On the women's side, it's Charlotte Flair, Kiana James, and Nia Jax. On the men's side, it's Carmelo Hayes, Damian Priest, and Trick Williams. Now, before we go into our main event, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn in a men's qualifier got a very interesting promo, or interview, I guess you would call it. It is whatever. Drew McIntyre, WWE Champion. Drew was interviewed. His thoughts on the triple threat. McIntyre said that he promises Cody Rhodes would not make it to Mania or back to this title, and that Jacob Fatu will be wishing he was behind bars if he faced him. Before McIntyre could turn his attention to Sami, he was confronted by Sami. McIntyre claimed, "I'm rooting for you, and I wish you the best of luck." I'm like, okay, I get that. He doesn't want to have to potentially defend his title. So what basically this was all about is Drew does not want to have to defend against either Jacob or Cody, but he'd be fine defending against Sami Zayn again because he knows he could beat Sami because he already beat him at the Royal Rumble. As far as this match does go, solid banger main event, even with the Drew interference. Bell rings and all 3 men faced off against one another before Fatu hits Zayn with a super kick. This led to Rhodes and Fatu going at it in the ring. Rhodes then dropped it down to hit a strike to the face, but he couldn't connect. Tried to go for a Cody cutter. Fatu kicked him afterwards. Fatu then missed with a senton and got sent over the top rope with a clothesline by Rhodes. Zayn then entered the ring and hit Rhodes with a pair of chops, then sent the former WWE champion out of the ring. Zayn then got a head of steam with some speed and took off with a dive over the top to take out both Rhodes and Fatu as my eyes are watering like crazy. Oh boy. Ooh. Child, I can't see. Oh boy. There we go. After a commercial break, Rhodes avoided a running splash from Fatu and one from Zayn on the opposite corner. Rhodes then hit his 2 foes with separate snap power slams. Barely got Sami over for his. Like, ooh, Sami almost landed on his head. Zayn then attempted a blue thunder bomb, but found himself hit with a disaster kick instead from Rhodes for a near fall. Zayn then struggled to get up, and Rhodes went for a crossroads but couldn't connect. Zayn tried for an exploder suplex in the corner, but Fatu bulldozed his way through and hit Rhodes with a brutal running attack. Fatu then hit a handspring moonsault on Zayn and then failed to hit a pop-up Samoan drop on Rhodes. There was a jackknife pin on Zayn that was attempted, but Fatu broke it up. At one point after another commercial break, Zayn and Rhodes had Fatu on the top rope, and they hit a double superplex on the big man. With Fatu out of commission for the time being, Zayn and Rhodes traded strikes while they struggled back to their feet. Rhodes gained the upper hand with a kick, but was caught by Zayn as he ran for an attack. There was an exploder suplex in the corner by Zayn on Rhodes. Zayn had Rhodes in his sights for a haluva kick, but was blasted by a super kick from Fatu. Zayn then took out Fatu with a Zayn took off Fatu with a kick to the back of the head and then had him almost with the roll-up. Rhodes then went for a Cody cutter, but got caught by a blue thunder bomb. Sami got a 2.9999. It was that close. Zayn and Rhodes then got back to their feet, and the two again traded strikes as they were on spaghetti legs, basically. Zayn at one point recovered and missed a haluva kick. Fatu then headed to the top rope for a splash. Zayn rolled him up for a small package upon impact, but couldn't get him down. At one point, Rhodes recovered and hit Zayn with a Cody cutter, but he was thrown out of the ring by Fatu. While Zayn was prone, Fatu connected with a moonsault on Zayn, only for a 2 because, Drew McIntyre came in with the Claymore and broke up the pin, kicking Fatu in the face. Outside the ring, Fatu was taken out by a powerbomb through the announce table as he then took Rhodes out with a Claymore. McIntyre then dragged Sami's body over a down-and-out Cody Rhodes for the pin, but somehow Cody kicked out at the last millisecond. A pissed-off Drew McIntyre pummeled Rhodes, much to Zayn's frustration, as he then got blasted with a haluva kick. Unfortunately, this left Zayn open for a crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cody is in the Elimination Chamber. Cody Rhodes has qualified for the men's Elimination Chamber match. It is now Randy Orton, LA Knight, and Cody Rhodes. 3 spots remain. So yeah, pretty good episode of SmackDown. I enjoyed it and thought it was a really good show. with that, you guys know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought as we go and check the polls. As we refresh all these polls here. 1, 2, 3, as far as the threads poll does go. 78% liked the show, 14% thought it was just all right, and 8% didn't like it. Looking at the community, Twitter poll. 87% liked the show, 12% didn't. Looking at the community poll, 78% liked the show, 14% thought it was just all right, and 8% didn't. No, I read that one already. That was the community poll. I didn't read the threads poll. 75% liked it, 25% thought it was just all right. And finally, the live poll. 75% liked it, 22% thought it was just all right, 3% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod. My mind just went blank. All the podcast audio services. We're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of them. You also get video versions on Spotify as well. With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend. NASCAR's back. We have the Truck Series tonight. Tomorrow, we got the O'Reilly Series. We got the Arca Menards Series. We got the Daytona 500 on Sunday. We're rolling, guys. We got a great weekend ahead. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.